Hello and welcome to another episode of I Don't Have a Name for This podcast. I'm your host, Kristen J, and I'm so happy to be back with you guys. It has been so long, and God knows I miss this mic. I miss talking to you guys. I miss just delivering the gems that I have to deliver to you guys. And so I'm so glad to be recording this podcast episode after taking a much needed and necessary break. But before we get into the swing of things, if you're new here, welcome. But if you're not, welcome back. You already know what I'm about to say. How are you doing? And if you're new, then you'll probably be a little bit surprised by this part, but I'm going to ask you again, how are you doing really? And the reason why I ask how are you doing really is because when people ask how are you doing, most of the time they don't really want to know the truth. They don't want to know what you're actually going through. It's a small talk type of thing. Oh, I'm so sorry. Not me having technical difficulties. Literally was struggling to get my setup back up. I burned myself with my incense before getting on camera. And for me, it's just, that didn't stop me because it's a part of my process. It's a part of literally the episode that we're going to be talking about today. If you already read the title, which you should have if you clicking on this video, and if you're just supporting out of the pureness of your heart and because you know you're going to get gems, I love you so much and I love that for you. But right, I ask how are you doing really because a lot of times people don't give honest answers the first time because they expect the people not to really care. But I do care. And although I can't hear your answer, I love to just create space for a moment or two for you to just think about how you are doing. Also, if you're new here, then you don't realize my setup is a little weird today. I normally am filming this way, this angle, but we have a new tripod, which is pretty nice because I can be closer to you guys and I don't know, I'm feeling the vibes, I'm feeling the setup. So let me know if you notice a difference, if you feel like there's a difference coming through in this episode, or if you don't notice any difference and it's like, que será, like if you want me to film in the backyard, I'll do that for you. But back to how are you doing? Just take a moment and sit with it and feel that for a little while and honor whatever space you're currently in. I want you to know that you are loved, you are supported, you are enough, and I see you. I don't know why I felt the need to say that to you guys, but it just came through, so I'm going to say it. If any of my friends are listening, they know, like, I go through these, like, I get these messages where I just have to say what's on my mind. And so if you're watching this and you needed to hear that, let me know in the comments below. And on wherever you're listening to this, whether it's on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcast, or on YouTube. Let me know if you needed to hear that because I just felt that you did. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Shall we? It has been, I think, a month or a little bit over a month. I believe we released 2 episodes when we returned for season 2, and then our stride had to be cut short. And that's what led me to wanting to film this episode about trusting the process, because trust the motherfucking process. I promise you, I did not want to take a break from podcasting at all. Actually, I debated with myself going back and forth a week prior to, and I released another episode. And I realized that I was able to get another episode in, and I could have recorded that week where I announced the podcast break. I am so intentional, you guys. I love to just deliver to you guys when I'm in my best space to deliver to you. I am not here for numbers. I am not here for statistics. I'm happy when I get like my Spotify report and it's like, you're doing this well in your area and you got people listening to you all over the world. That is so amazing for me, and I love that so much. But that's not why I do this. I show up for you guys, and I show up for you guys because I know that there's someone out there who needs to hear this. And I don't want to deliver from a space where I am not able to coherently give my best. And maybe that's a really high standard to set for myself, but for right now, that's the standard that we're working with, and that's the standard that I like, and it seems to work for me, and it makes me feel like my podcast is super intentional, and that's all I want, is to deliver with intent and show up authentically. And those are my only two requirements, is to deliver with intent and to show up authentically. If I can't do those two things, then I don't want to show up, because I abandoned myself when I forced myself to show up otherwise. And so I've really forced myself into this break, you guys, and I really did not want to go on a break. I was like, no, the podcast just came back. I cannot take a break. And life humbled me real quickly. And honestly, it was my intuition telling me, like, I knew I needed to go on a break just because of the circumstances of events that was happening. I didn't have the space to hold, to be able to be my best self here. And so I was forced into this break and this hiatus. And in that was born this episode, which is about trusting the process, which is so funny because, like, if you think about it, had I just trusted the process from the beginning, I would have gotten this episode in and downloaded it and recorded it for you guys. But it's happening now, and it happens in divine timing, happens when it's supposed to. And that's the beauty of life. Like, don't none of us on this earth know what we're doing here, okay? Don't let nobody fool you. Some people might have seemed like they figured it out. We might like catch a stride. We might seem like we got our things together. But in reality, nobody knows what we're doing. There is no one size fits all to doing life, and there's not one way to do that. And that's, as a neurodivergent, let me tell you, there is nothing standard about life. There's not a standard manual when you're born. The doctor doesn't say, here's your baby, here's your human life manual. Like, no. We are all literally figuring this shit out as we go. And so we need to show ourselves grace for that learning process and that learning curve. And sometimes that learning curve is steep as fuck and it's not fun. But I promise you, it always gets better. And no matter what, things always end up working out better than you ever imagined. Like, seriously, you don't understand how many times I was boohoo crying, thinking I wouldn't make it past a certain life event, and I couldn't see tomorrow. I couldn't see next week. I couldn't think past the moment. And here I am recording this episode on May 10th, 2023, which is so funny because I think my best episodes come when I record literally the week of and I don't pre-record. That is when I'm in my element, when I'm in my jam. But also, I know that I can tap into that without recording the week of. But it just so happens that I'm recording this episode on Wednesday. And you guys are going to hear this on Friday. And I'm so happy to be back with you guys. Like, literally. But this thing that we're all on, this journey that we're all on called life, is not easy. And because it doesn't come with the manual, because we're figuring it out, and because it takes trial and error, you need to give yourself room for error. You need to give yourself room for failure. And I don't think that there is a such thing as failure, because you will never fail if you don't quit. All of those L's and lessons that you take along the way end up providing you with a tool, another tool that you add to your tool belt while you're hiking that mountain, and you don't know when you're gonna need it. It's like, I don't know why I just thought about Dora the Explorer. You know, her backpack be having some tools in there. She's like, what the hell do I need this for? And she hits the next landmark, and that tool comes in handy, like a rope ladder to cross the bridge. Like, you don't know when you will need what you're gaining experience from. And the beauty about life is that we never, ever, ever, ever start over. Literally, you never start over. You always start from experience. And that is so beautiful. Oh, that just made me so warm inside. Because that's something that I need to hear. Because I feel like sometimes I have this resistance to starting over, because it seems like this big ordeal, bigger than what we make it, much bigger than what it is. And in reality, like I said, you never start over. You just always start from experience. And you gained a tool on your tool belt when you went through that lesson, when you went through that heartbreak, when you broke up with that friend, when you lost that job. There was something there that you gained. And so when you're in this dark cloud and you cannot imagine the sun coming out, I want you to remember that you can only experience light if you know darkness. You can only experience and appreciate the sun when you know the rain. Because without it, honestly, we would take it for granted. And as character building as that sounds, it is not all glitz and glamour. And I am, y'all know me, I'm a Cancer, so I'm a ride or die hard, romanticize the fuck out of your life. Like, I will romanticize washing dishes, which I do. Because I don't enjoy washing dishes, so I have to romanticize it so that I have something to look forward to. And honestly, now that I've been romanticizing washing dishes, I do look forward to washing dishes, because it's the time that I get to think about things, or I'll play my vinyls on my record player and just feel like this luxurious black girl in her apartment, and I let the maid off for the night, so I'm washing dishes and I'm just taking care of the home, and it feels so good. Or I'm washing these dishes so that I can provide myself with a nice home cooked meal, which, if you know me, I don't like outside food. And 9 times out of 10, if I have a dirty sink or a dirty kitchen, I'm going to force myself to get outside food, just because I don't feel like, with the pressures of law school, the busyness of it all, to sit here and go and wash dishes, clean the stove. That is so much work, bro. I already have to cook, and then I have to clean, and then I have to eat, and then I have to clean again. Like, that is so much work. But when I think about it from this perspective of, I deserve to have a home cooked meal right now. I'm stressed out, and food is my love language, by the way, if you didn't know. I don't believe that there's only 5 love languages. Get out of here. Food is one of my love languages. And literally, it's the way I experience love. And I've been actually exploring this topic with my therapist. Yes, I said therapist. I started therapy too, you guys. So much has happened since I last spoke to you guys, but we'll get to that a little bit later in this episode. But yeah, I'm exploring that topic with my therapist. And she's like, wow, because we were talking about me being at home in New York a couple of days ago. Actually, I had my therapy session with her last Thursday. And that reminds me, I did not film a therapy update for TikTok. And I have to do that. A mental note, okay? But we was just exploring the fact that when I got home, I was so excited to have a home cooked meal. My mom was listen, if you know my mom, like, my mom likes to cook 3-4 times a year, and she's gonna cook everything under the sun, because she doesn't cook throughout the year. Or she'll cook more throughout the year, but like, my siblings, they eat whatever. I'm a fancy palate girl. But when I come home after not being home for 6 months, baby, arroz con salami is gonna do it for me. Every time. Moro de salami, bro. She made moro de salami. And I was so like, I was so happy. My heart was so warm, and my stomach was all melty up, and I was just like, and she was like, when she was buying the things, she was like, well, I don't want to cook anything. Like, I don't want to make too much of a meal. Like, I've been working all day. I've been up all night. She had to get me from the hospital. She had to get me from the airport at 5 a.m., you guys. I landed at 5 in the morning. And then I was on the surgery table at 7 in the morning. And we're going to get into that, I promise you guys. But at first, I want to give you guys your gem before we go into the back story about everything that I've been going through. I just want to talk to you guys through this point right now of just trusting the process. And so, back to the moro de salami. She's like, I am just going to make a locrio. She's like, but no, I don't want to make locrio because I don't feel like making longaniza. I don't feel like frying it. My mom is very like OCD. She won't make the locrio inside the rice. She has to fry it and then make it inside the rice. So it's like double cooked. But I was like, girl, you can make it with salami. She's like, for real? I'm like, yes, please make it with salami. It is those quote unquote struggle meals that I cherish so much. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the connection to my childhood or if it feels like home, and I love it so much. I love it so much. And so I was telling my therapist, like, yeah, my mom made me locrio de salami, and my best friend's mom made rice and steak and beans, and I'm just telling her about everything I had and how I was just so happy. And she hadn't seen like that, mind you, but that was our third session, so she hasn't seen me like, you know, kind of in my element because I've been super depressed. But when she saw how happy I was talking about being home, being around love, being around family and friends and food, she was like, I'm so curious to see when you're down and out, what's your relationship with food like? And I'm like, damn, you know, these therapists be reading you, like, you don't even expect it, and then they're reading you like, damn, sis, you ain't have to do that. Because I thought about it, and baby, like I just said to you guys, if the dishes is not washed because I'm feeling depressed and funky, I'm not making a home cooked meal. I'm slapping something together from Trader Joe's in the freezer, like a frozen meal, or I'm gonna go and get fast food, which, oh my god, I hate fast food. I literally think it's a crime. No, like, why? Fast food is not, like, Jesus. But so when she said that, I was like, wow, yeah, that is actually accurate. And so I was like having to take all that in that moment. But all that to say this, I don't even remember what I was talking about. This is the first time this has ever happened to me while I'm filming a podcast, where I literally blanked out on the previous thing that we're talking about. Should I keep this in? You guys know I like to record a real raw episode for you guys, no edits. But I might have to stop the video just to see what I was talking about. Wow. Give me a second. How could I forget? We were talking about romanticizing dishwashing and just romanticizing your life and just, you know, knowing that everything always works out better than you ever could have imagined. And so take the time to give yourself space to fuck up, because that is a part of the process. Fucking up is a part of the process. No one, not one successful person in this world, and successful, I'm using it as a very light term. Whatever your definition of success is, that's fine. It applies here. There is not one successful person who's been successful without failing. It is literally a part of the process. It is literally a part of the journey. And so failing, messing up, those lessons and those tools that you're gathering in your tool belt, that knowledge, that experience that you're gaining, appreciate that, because it's going to help you one day when you don't know and you least expect it. Today, I went to the DMV. This is like so like off topic, but it's coming to me now. So it's not off topic, but it's like so random that it connects. The fact that I went to the DMV today, I finally went to get my California license. I've been living here for almost 2 years, but not so much on me. And I was told that I had to take a written test. And I'm like, dog, what? I'm like, hold on. Because why do I gotta take a written test if I've been driving literally for 10 years? I've had a license for 10 years. What do I need to take a written test for? But they were like, yeah, because you're out of state, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, fuck me. And I ended up, taking my picture, which I slayed and laid. By the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me at _I've been a problem, because I am going to be posting that to my story, because I already know I ate that picture up. But when I got to the desk of taking my exam, I was like, the whole entire time after she told me, I was freaking out. It was like maybe 30 minutes from the time that she told me that I was going to be taking an exam to the time that I actually took an exam, because I had to wait. I had to finish up with her, and then I had to wait on another line to take the photo. So maybe 20 minutes. It wasn't even 30. It was like 20 minutes. And then I had to wait on the line for the computer, which was a very quick line, because I don't know, people were just failing out of there or what. But I thought I was about to be failing too. And so something kept telling me, just trust the process. Just trust the process. Like, you're here. I was going to grab a DMV book and go home and study. I'm like, you don't need that. You don't need that. You're in law school. You know how to answer these questions. And baby, I knew how to answer the questions. And I had to just trust the process, and the fact that I've been through law school and I know how to read the call of the question. And I'm sorry if you're in law school or if you're a lawyer and this is triggering, because reading the call of the question and hearing that phrase, yeah, it does a little something to my brain. But I mean, it worked here. And little did I ever know that me being a law student for 2 years was going to end up helping me take a DMV written exam for a state that I've never even read one rule on. And you might be thinking like, oh yeah, it's common sense. It's like if you've been driving, you know the signs and whatever. No, I only got 2 signs in that exam. Everything was, I mean, if you're someone like who freaks out about exams like me, that exam was pretty, like, it wasn't, I don't want to say difficult, but on the level, on like a easy to difficulty like scale from 1 to 10, I'm giving that a solid 8.5. It was a solid 8.5 in my opinion for a written exam that I've never ever read one rule for in the state, and was able to pass off of the strength that I used my exam taking techniques for law school. And so all that to say is that tool that I've been learning, that muscle that I've been working in law school, that degree that I've been busting my ass for, is literally paying off in other areas of my life that I would never have expected. And if I would have walked out of there because she told me I had to take a written exam, I wouldn't have ate that picture up like I did. That's first things first. Second of all, I probably would have. Second of all, I wouldn't have known that I had the ability to use that skill, that tool that was on my tool belt, to pass an exam that I've never even so much even thought of. So trust the process, babe. I promise you that if it looks like it's not working out, it is. If you feel like you don't know what you're doing, it's because you don't. And I'm here to tell you that that's okay. That is okay. I know lawyers who have 10 years being attorneys, 20 years being attorneys, and they still get imposter syndrome. These dudes can be considered experts in their area already and still feel like what they're doing is not enough, because we just don't know. We're on this earth plane to explore, to learn, to fall, and to get back up. And so I would argue and say that as long as you're getting back up, then that's okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to work out. And I just need you to trust the process. Okay? Okay. And the reason why this is so important for me today is because basically the reason I had to take a break from my podcast was I got some not so fun news, which I still haven't sorted out, but I'm a little delusional and I'm trusting the process. So I'm practicing what I preach in real time. And I was told that my financial aid for my third year was not approved. And I was told this in the middle of me taking a practice exam. I got the email. It was the last day of school, and I got the email saying that my financial aid package was not approved. It was actually denied, and I would have to get a co-signer or appeal. And y'all already know I appealed that. I'm still in the appeal process, and I have high hopes. I think everything is looking good. It's taking a little bit long because it does deal with the credit bureaus and X by Z, and I have to send letters, and I have to get real technical, and I have to use the law because, you know, your girl's in law school, and I didn't sit here and read the law for 2 years to not know how to use it to my advantage and to get my approved. Like, period. I already know it's already done. I'm doing all this other stuff for formality. That's what I keep telling myself, because I have to trust the process. Like, I literally went down a spiral for like 3 days, and I lost my shit. I lost it so bad. I was crying every day. I was literally like, me and my carpet are besties. Why? Because my favorite place to cry is my carpet. So I was on my carpet literally every day crying, because I didn't understand, like, what does the universe want from me right now? Like, I am already super fucking stressed out. Law school is not easy. I don't need a little character building right now. I don't need this. But I also understand that the reason why it may feel so hard is because I haven't given up. And a wise friend once told me, she said, when you're playing a game and you keep beating the levels and you're getting closer to beating the game, do the levels get easier or do they get harder? I'm gonna let you think about that one. It definitely gets harder. Like, you know, when you're playing Super Mario and then you gotta fight the demon at the end, like, them levels with the fire coming at you and this big old brolic dum guy coming at you, like, it definitely gets harder. And so that did offer me a peace of mind. I'll be lying if I said that I was like, when she said that, I was like, oh, okay, no, but like, it was definitely very insightful. It was very helpful in the time, just to like put things into perspective, because sometimes we lose perspective. Sometimes we too zoom the fuck in that we need to zoom out and realize, you know, why I'm here. I've been through so much worse. I've been told so many times I wouldn't make it. I've been told so many times that I wouldn't be here. I've been told so many times that I wasn't gonna be shit. And I feel like people don't believe me when I say that because they don't know high school Kristen. But babes, if you knew high school Kristen, nobody, like, I'm willing to bet that 50% of my high school would have counted me out and like betted their life savings on it, because that's just how things were looking at the time. I mean, I never allowed that to define me, or never allowed it to hold me back, because I knew who I was. And I've always known who I am. And I think that knowing helps me to stay grounded and rooted in why I'm doing this shit, no matter how much I forget. Because I forget a lot. And you're going to forget a lot. And that's okay. It's a part of the fucking process. But you will remember. And one day you'll look back and you'll be so thankful that you didn't give up and that you trusted the process. I wish I could hug you guys. Like, this is just so necessary. I miss talking to you. I miss giving you the gems. I hope this was super, super enlightening, insightful. I hope it resonated with you. I hope that you're happy that we're back. I don't anticipate any more breaks until season 3. And I don't know actually how many episodes are going to be in season 2 at the moment that I'm filming this. But... and just know that we vibing, twin. We vibing, and you know, if we need to take another pause, another break, we're gonna do it, right? Because we're trusting the process, and we're listening to our intuition when our intuition says we need a break, and we're not gonna fight it. We're not gonna be tapping into that masculine energy that tells you to just power through. And don't get me wrong, there are times when you need to power the fuck through, because that's what I had to do for my finals. I had to power the fuck through because nobody was going to take this final from me. Wasn't nobody gonna give me an extension. I literally asked, and they were like, "Oh, we're sorry you're stressed, but good luck." I'm like, stressed? Bitch, I just told you my career could be over. I'm not stressed. I want to die. I am joking in case my therapist ever watches this. Do not commit me. I don't want to die. I actually enjoy living so much. Okay. Oh, trust the process. It literally always works out and better than you imagine. Like, look at you now, and I want you, whenever you're in that dark space, to remember all the times that you thought you couldn't make it through, when your chest was heavy and you couldn't breathe because you couldn't see past the moment, when you couldn't rationally think and put together a sentence because you literally was losing your shit. Like, I mean, I do it all the time. And then I have to remind myself, and I have to keep a community around me, like the friend who told me about the game, or like my friends Isaiah and Sam. Shout out to them, because literally I was going through it and they were like, you know, when you have that positive friend and they're like always the positive one, and then they're like going through and you're like, fuck, how the fuck do I show up for this person? That was Isaiah and Sam. But they did their best showing up for me and meeting me where I needed to be met, and I appreciate that so much. And the girl who gave the game quote, her name is Janie baby, shout out to you. I love you guys so much. Like, literally wouldn't be here without you guys. So I encourage you guys to find the community, whether that be a therapist, whether that be a friend, whether that be yourself. Because prior to me starting therapy, I did this thing where it's like photo booth therapy, where you open the photo booth on your Mac laptop or your Mac desktop and you just start talking. I talk to myself all the time in the crib, so it ain't weird for me to talk to myself in the camera. And I'm a whole YouTuber, so like, this is normal. Me talking to you guys through the camera right now, very normal. So please, if you feel some type of cringe, do it. That's even more reason to do it. I promise you that once you're done, like crying on camera, talking to yourself, and just combing through your thoughts in real time, you look at it in the future, and you're like, God damn, I've been through some shit and I came back from that. Because that's literally what I did. Went through all the videos in my photo booth on my Mac, and I was like, she been through some stuff, and yeah, she's still going, she's still here, so we gonna get through this one too. So yeah, trust the process. Everything is gonna work out. Everything's gonna be okay. You're good. You are enough. You're doing everything that you can. Please take a break if your body and your nervous system needs one. Do not kill yourself trying to accomplish whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. And you'll know the difference when you need to tap into that masculine energy and just get it over with, versus what I'm talking about, taking a break because you need to take a break. Otherwise, you're going to be forced into a break into a hospital. Okay? And I don't want that for you, okay? No. I love you guys so much, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure that you go ahead and rate this episode, rate this show, wherever you're listening to this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.